Open sesame. It's time for the Sports Vault with Jersey Joe and Big Shot Rob.
Yeah, Joe, I think the Knicks are going to win the championship this year. They're going to beat the Heat.
Let me stop you right there, Rob. The Miami Heat will win the championship this year.
It's back-to-back titles for the Heat. The 2013 NBA championship resides once again in Miami.
The Madden cover winner in 2012 was Peyton Hillis.
Peyton who?
Running room with the ends. Peyton Hillis is loose. Sprint to the end zone. Touchdown.
The Jacksonville Jaguars have yet to win a game so far, Joe.
I think it's time to unleash Tim Tebow, Rob.
It definitely is.
Tebow moving to the left side. Tebow on the move. 10-yard line, 5-yard line. It's Tebow time.
Are you kidding me, Joe? Alex Rodriguez will make more than the entire Houston Astros roster this season?
I don't know what they're doing down there, Big Shot Rob.
That ball is high. That is far. It is good.
You can listen to the Sports Vault every Friday from 12:30 to 1:30 on WICR. Hello, Iona College. Welcome back to the Sports Vault. I am your host with the most, Jersey Joe, coming with Big Shot Rob as always, and I'm pumped up for this show. This is a great show. We've got a stacked show, so much stuff to talk about, so let's get right into it. You know we always start off the show going over Thursday night's game, and unfortunately for all you Giant fans out there, it's another loss. Giants lose to the Bears 27-21. They're 0-6. Things are just not looking good for the Giants right now. Things that just really pointed out to me from the game last night was the Giants' defense. It's just terrible. It really is. They can't make a tackle. They're not getting enough pass rush on the quarterback. Turnovers, of course, are a big problem. The offensive line isn't giving Eli enough time. And at this point, you know, what are the Giants playing for after 0-6? Right now, I think you just got to see what your young guys can do. Just get a good pick in the draft right now. There's nothing to play for after 0-6. You're just going to be playing for your pride. Just, you know, it's over. Just see what your young guys can do and see what can happen in the draft. But let's get into our Week 6 picks, the most anticipated thing. We got a lot of tough games this week, some good ones as well. So let's get right into it. We've got the Packers at Baltimore this week. Pretty interesting game. The Packers had a big win last week off their bye. Baltimore beat Miami. They haven't looked too sharp. I'm going with the road team in this one in Green Bay. The Ravens just been a little too inconsistent for me so far, so I'm going to go with the Packers in this one.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you on that one, Joe. I'm going to go with the Packers. Aaron Rodgers has been playing great. However, this one is going to be a hard game to choose because, as we just heard this week, the Packers lost Clay Matthews, and he's a big part to that defense with going after the quarterback, so you don't know how Joe Flacco will do against this defense now.
Very true. You know, I've seen a lot of inconsistencies out of Joe Flacco. He's got to cut down the turnovers. Should be an interesting game to watch, though. The next one we have is the Cincinnati Bengals playing the Buffalo Bills at Buffalo. Bengals coming off a big win against New England. I like the Bengals in this game. With E.J. Manuel hurt, Buffalo's really going to struggle on offense. The Bengals have one of the best defenses in the NFL. They should get a win on the road here.
Yeah, Bengals again. There's no E.J. Manuel means the Bills have no quarterback whatsoever, which means that Bengals defense will rip them apart. And Andy Dalton, you know, he's coming off that big win last week, so he's definitely going for this win again.
Agreed. And the next one we have is the Detroit Lions going to Cleveland. Cleveland has played much better than we've expected this year. They've definitely picked it up. With Brian Hoyer out now, I'm not really sure what to expect now that Brandon Whedon's back in. The Lions have really been inconsistent this year. They've looked really good one week. The next week, they just haven't played well. Last week, they struggled on offense. Calvin Johnson's not 100%, not sure if he's going to play. I'm going to go with Detroit in this one. But there's a potential for an upset here. But I'm just going to go with the Detroit because I think they're the better team.
Yeah, I like Detroit in this game, too. The Browns, they lost Hoyer, and now Brandon Whedon's back. I really dislike Brandon Whedon. I don't like him as a quarterback whatsoever. And I think Matthew Stafford will just beat this team because I don't think this Browns team is really going that far this year.
Cool. And then let's go on to the Rams and the Texans. Been a lot of talk about Matt Schaub and losing his job, but I think Matt Schaub gives the Texans the best chance to win. They should get a win here against the Rams at home. Matt Schaub can get his confidence back a little bit. The Texans' defense is still reasonably pretty good, and they should. The Rams' offense has struggled for the most part this year, so I think Houston will get a win here. Maybe Matt Schaub's confidence gets up a little bit.
Yeah, this is a tough one this week, Joe. both quarterbacks on both teams are not doing great whatsoever this year, and I think this game's going to fall on the defense. The Texans overall have the better defense, so I'm going to go with the Texans. But I think this game's mostly going to fall on Arian Foster to help take control of this team and rush for over 100 yards.
Yeah, I mean, they've really got to get that run game going with Ben Tate and Foster because that's going to make things a lot easier for Matt Schaub, and he needs as much help as he can get right now. The next game we have is the Kansas City Chiefs at home against the Raiders. The Chiefs are just great this year. Alex Smith and Andy Reid, I love what they're doing down there. They should get a win here. The Chiefs' defense is arguably, aside from the Jets, the best defense in the NFL. The Raiders are gonna have a tough time without that running game. I do like Terrell Pryor a lot, but he just has nothing to work with, and Kansas City should get an easy win at home here.
Yeah, the Chiefs should win this game. Home game, have one of the top defenses, but you can't count the Raiders out because
No.
Terrell Pryor has been in each and every game. He's put up a decent amount of points. He's a good quarterback, so you can't keep this team out. However, they're lacking on their defense, so that's why you might have to lack them out this week.
I couldn't agree with you more, Rob. You know, Terrell Pryor makes up for a lot of things that he doesn't have to work with, but as long as he's in that game, they'll have a chance. But should be an interesting one to see how it plays out. The next one we have is one of the tougher games to pick. You have the Vikings at home against the Panthers. I was big on the Panthers last week. I thought coming off a bye they were going to get a win against Arizona, but they just looked like the same team they did the first couple weeks, really struggling on offense. Defensively, they're still pretty good, but I just do not like what I'm seeing from the Panthers right now. I think Ron Rivera is on his way out. The Vikings have Matt Castle starting, who played pretty well before their bye, and I think the Vikings will pick up a win here at home.
Yeah, I think the Vikings will win too, Joe. I really like Matt Castle, and I feel he has enough weapons now. He's playing for a decent team, so he'll be able to beat this Panthers team. This Panthers team has not improved whatsoever over the last couple of years, and it is a home game for the Vikings. You know they're going to win it.
Yeah, and the next one is another okay one, but two not very good teams, so that's why it's hard to pick. It's the Eagles at Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay coming off a bye week, so you'd think that they're going to clean up some of the problems they've been having, but Philly coming off a big win against the Giants. I'm going to go with the Eagles in this one. I think it's going to be it might be a high-scoring game because the Eagles' defense is so bad, but the Eagles are going to have to keep on putting up points, but I'm going to go with the Eagles in this one. I'm not sold on Mike Lennon yet.
Yeah, I don't like Mike Lennon whatsoever, so I'm going with the Eagles. The matchup I really want to see this week is Deshaun Jackson versus Darrell Revis.
Yeah, they've been smack talking a lot this week.
And I also want to see how Revis feels once he goes 0-5 this year.
Yeah, well, we're going to get to your Jets actually right now, Rob. So you've got the Steelers coming off a bye at the Jets. Why don't you lead us off with this one?
All right, Joe, we're going to win this. I know over the past couple of years we haven't beaten the Steelers, but this Jets team coming off a huge win versus the Falcons. Geno Smith looked great. He's definitely going to beat this Steelers team. The Jets defense will be able to manhandle Ben Roethlisberger because I think the Jets have one of the top defenses in the league.
Agreed.
And I'm telling you right now, we're making the playoffs. I'm guaranteeing it from day one right here.
Yeah, Rob made that bold statement on the podcast this week, folks. And I don't know, Rob, I like your enthusiasm, and I kept on going back and forth on this game, going with the Jets sometimes and the Steelers. But at the end of the day, I think the Steelers coming off their bye are going to clean up a lot of things. And I picked them to win this game, but it wouldn't surprise me at all if the Jets won. I just picked Pittsburgh because I think coming off a bye, they're going to clean up some things, and they really are hungry for a win here. But I don't know, Rob. We'll check back at the end of the season to see if you were right on that one. He's like Joe Namath over here with these predictions, folks.
I'm like Skip Bayless.
Skip Bayless. Well, we'll talk about him in another show because we could put a whole segment on Skip Bayless. But let's go on to one of the harder games. Just kidding, folks. The Broncos and the Jaguars. It's not hard. The Broncos are going to win. Don't pick the Jaguars ever. It's easy. Broncos.
Yeah, there's an easy win for the Broncos. I mean, I think if Tim Tebow was on the Jaguars, they might actually have a chance.
Yeah, but they don't listen to anybody. They don't know what they're doing down there, so...
They like losing every year. They get used to it in Jacksonville.
I guess so, because they're good at it. And the next one you have is the Seahawks at home against the Titans. This should be a pretty easy one for the Seahawks. The Titans have a little bit of life in them. Fitzpatrick played pretty well against the Chiefs last week. Seahawks at home, though, are so hard to beat. Nobody can beat them at home, so they should get a win here pretty easily.
Yeah, you got to go with the Seahawks in this one. This is a home game. Seahawks never lose at home. Loudest stadium. You know, the Titans don't have Jake Locker. Fitzpatrick did play good last week, but I think this Seahawks defense will shut him down completely.
Cool. All right, now here's one of the better games of the weekend, Rob. You got the Saints traveling to New England. This is a nice matchup. The Saints haven't lost a game yet. Their offense is moving the ball at will. Defense has looked really good too. New England, they haven't looked too sharp so far this year. They really couldn't get anything going on offense last week. They got Amendola back. Gronkowski could be back, so they'll get a few more pieces back. But I don't know. I like the way the Saints team is moving the ball. They can get stops on defense. So I'm going to go with the Saints again to get another win here.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Saints too, Joe. I overall think their defense got way better than it's been in the past. And all they have to do is keep blitzing Tom Brady. You know how he is under the blitz. And Drew Brees, you know, he's having an incredible year. He's coming off 12 touchdowns now this year. 1,722 yards, just putting up amazing numbers like he does every other year.
Yeah. And the next one we have is the 49ers and the Cardinals. The 49ers have picked it up a little bit since their struggles after they lost to the Colts. They should get an easy win here against the Cardinals. The Cardinals' defense is underrated. They do have a nice defense. Patrick Peterson against Bolden should be a fun matchup to watch. But I think San Fran should pull out a win here.
This is a tough game. I'm stuck on who to choose. Both quarterbacks really are not impressing me whatsoever. But I'm going to go with the 49ers on this one. There's a home game for them, and their running game has just been awesome within the past 2 weeks.
True. Yeah, the running game's really kept them alive. Kaepernick doesn't have to throw the ball too much because the running game's been so efficient the last couple weeks. And the next game we have is the Redskins, who are coming off a bye against the Cowboys, who had a crushing loss last week to the Broncos. Part of me likes the Redskins here. I'm picking the Cowboys to win, but I think it's going to be a very high-scoring game. I think that the Cowboys' defense is just, you can move the ball at will against them. The Redskins will clean up some things from their bye week, and I think it's just going to be who can put up enough points at the end of the day. And the Cowboys showed last week they can put up a lot of points. We're just going to see if Tony Romo can actually not throw the game away this time.
I'm going to go with the Redskins on this one, Joe. I'm going to have to disagree. They're just coming off their bye week, and I think they're going to beat this Cowboys team. Both teams' defense is terrible, but I think it's going to be a high offensive scoring game, just like you said.
True. And the next one we have is the Monday night game. My Chargers are at home against the Colts, and the Chargers have really played well against the Colts the last couple seasons. I'm going to go with the Colts in this one. Part of me is kind of torn on this one. It's only a 1.5 point game, it's predicted to be. And part of me thinks that's a trap, and the Chargers might pull it out. But I know the Chargers, and it'll be a close game. But I think a couple plays here and there that the Chargers are going to kill themselves on. I'm going to go with the Colts.
I'm going with San Diego for this one, Joe.
Ooh, you're taking my team, Rob.
Yeah. They're the home team in this one. And I think Phillip Rivers has been accurate. You know, last week he did show the old Phillip Rivers that we all know about, where he throws interceptions. Andrew Luck, on the other hand, has been playing great as a quarterback, so it should be a close matchup. I think this could be a game where you see 58 points scored altogether by both teams. But I think the Chargers go take out and win this one.
Yeah, I mean, the Chargers definitely have a chance. Unfortunately, the offensive line's really been torn apart by injuries the last couple weeks, so they've really got to patch that together. But they'll be in the game, and it should be a fun game to watch. But that's not the end of our NFL segment. You know we love jerseys on the Sports Vault, and a big news this week was of the new unveiling of the new Pro Bowl jerseys. And Rob, there's a picture of them on our Twitter page, so go to the Sports Vault Iona. You can see the pictures there. Rob, what are your first impressions of the new jerseys?
Those have to be the ugliest things I've ever seen in my life. I'm so used to seeing red and blue for AFC and NFC. I don't know where they got this creation from with green and orange, because there's only a couple of teams that use that color, so I don't know where they came up with this idea. Overall, they're terrible-looking jerseys.
Yeah, I mean, people have been saying it's going to look like Oregon is playing Oklahoma State the way that these jerseys are looking. I mean, if you look at the jersey, it looks like it looks almost identical to one of Oregon's jerseys. Oregon wears so many that I guess they would think people wouldn't notice, but I'm nearly positive I've seen Oregon wear that jersey before. And the other one looks just like either a Broncos away or a Oklahoma State away jersey. I just don't like it. I mean, I wish Nike would have gone out on a limb a little bit more, made them more creative. The Pro Bowl jerseys in the last couple of years have really not been very good. They've really just been generic. I don't like the detail in them. As you know, we're the king of jerseys here, so we know what we're talking about, which is why that made us think of this. Since we're so disappointed in these jerseys, what are the 5 best jerseys in NFL history? And Rob, why don't you start us off? What is your top 5 jerseys in NFL history?
My top 5 jerseys are the San Diego Chargers light blue jerseys.
Of course.
One of my favorites. I love the Los Angeles Rams blue and gold jerseys. Those are just amazing. I hope I wish they kept using them like for every game, because those are like amazing when you look back in the 70s when they wore them, 80s.
Yeah, I really like those.
I also really like the Jets old jersey, Joe Namath jersey, the light green and white. That's one of my favorites. Dan Marino's Dolphins jersey is amazing looking, and the Seahawks jersey from last year with the Nike, it looks like an Oregon jersey. It's just like amazingly awesome with all the lining and all that. It's perfect.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I got my top 5 here too. Number 5, I have the Philadelphia Eagles. The Reggie White era, great green. The eagle on the sides really stands out. It's just a classic jersey. I really like that one. Number 4, I have the Rams throwback, the Eric Dickerson style. Just a great color scheme on the jersey. It's got a nice pattern on the sides. It's just a really sharp jersey, really bold. I like the Rams wear it every once in a while. It's one of their alternates, and I really like when I see them bring it out. Number 3, I have the Houston Oilers. I mean, the powder blue with the touch of red, it's just beautiful. It really is a sharp jersey. The Earl Campbell, Warren Moon style ones. The Titans, they wear it on occasion as one of their alternates, but this jersey is just so nice. It really is a sharp jersey. Number 2 on my list is, I don't know, people go either way. People either love this jersey or people can't stand it. I'm one of the people who loves this jersey, why it's number 2 on my list. It's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the orange creamsicle one. I have the Leroy Selman one in my collection. I have all these jerseys, but that's one too. And I love this one. I think the orange in it, there's just not too many teams who wear that kind of jersey anymore. And I think it's really sharp. I really like that jersey. Tampa Bay doesn't wear it anymore either, and they're not going to have it was their alternate anymore, unfortunately. But I really enjoy seeing this jersey. I think it's a really nice one. In number 1, how could it not be on the list? It's the best jersey in NFL history. Rob had it too. The powder blue San Diego Chargers jersey, number 1. I've been teasing it on the Twitter page all day. That's number 1. How could it not be? I mean, the lightning bolts on the side, the powder blue, it all goes together so well. I know a lot of people are disappointed that the Chargers don't make this their main jersey. They bring it out on occasion as an alternate once or twice a year, but I wish the Chargers too would bring this out as their number 1 jersey, because it really is just so nice. Everything on it goes together so well, and I think all 5 of those jerseys are well deserved of being some of the best in NFL history, among many. But that does it for our top 5. But we're still not done. We've got even more football stuff to talk about. Number 4 is, it's been in the news all week, the Washington Redskins. Should they change their name, yes or no? Rob, what's your take? Should they change it or should they not?
No, they shouldn't change it. It hasn't been a real big issue going around over these last couple years, and now all of a sudden this year it's like the biggest issue. That's all you hear about on ESPN. I don't think they should change it. If they change it, then other teams like the Atlanta Braves or Cleveland Indians should change it. It's a team name that's been with this team the whole time. It's not to offend people. It's just a team name. I don't get why it's such a big deal with people.
I agree. I mean, you saw the president come out and talk about it. I guess he doesn't have more important things to do than to talk about the name change. But, you know, the government lockdown and stuff, he's not busy enough, so he has the free time for that. But another problem with it is, too, I agree with especially what you said about the other teams. If the Blackhawks or the Braves and the Indians don't have outrage, how is the Redskins any different? If one is offensive, how could they not all be offensive? And the big thing about it is, these names, people aren't disrespecting them. These names mean a lot to fans. There are fans who've been of following these teams for a long time, and the names really mean something to them. They don't disrespect the name. It means a lot. And I just think we need to stop being so sensitive about things like this. there's so many other bigger issues at stake right now, and to really go on a witch hunt and make a big story out of this one, it really isn't. I just think it's not worth all the attention it's been getting, and I just think we need to drop it and just let the Redskins keep the name, because there's a lot of worse things in sports we need to worry about than the name of the Washington Redskins, folks. But that's going to do it for our NFL segment. Great segment, a lot of good stuff. We got a lot of more great stuff coming up. We will be right back.
Watson right, Johnson left. Elway in the end zone and throwing it. It's complete. Winder dives out to the 7-yard line. Vance Johnson's in motion, reverses the motion, and the pitch is to Winder. Winder coming to the right, cuts to the 10-yard line, and the Broncos will count ahead to score 22.